Hi, I'm Jared. This is painting. I wanted to jump in here with a couple of tips for when you're sanding polyurethane on top of stained wood. So let me turn this around and I'll walk you through a couple of things that are very important. So first things first is if you have your sanding pad, your 320 grit sandpaper wrapped around, in my case I use a Scotch-Brite pad. What this does is it gives it a nice backer so that your paper can float. Now, the difference when you're sanding something that has a clear coat over stain is the clear coats are extremely thin coatings. There's no pigment or anything that builds a significant film, but it's a very hard finish that is extremely durable. So when you're sanding, the reason I use the backer is so that you can just essentially lay the paper on there and let it float. There's no grinding, no aggressive no aggressive attacking of the finish. It's just let the paper float. You want a nice, smooth, even sanding with the grain is also a very important tip. So as you can see, it creates a nice powdery look, and this paper is just floating on top. Another thing is when you have edges. So with the edge, there's a tendency if you sand too hard to take the finish all the way down to bare wood. So a trick and a tip is you don't have to go totally to the edge. I mean, a millimeter away is adequate. And again, just floating. But if you're on these little small returns, what I would suggest is curl the paper. That way you're not, and use your fingers as a guide so you can anchor the paper curled. And again, just floating. As you can see it, maybe you can't see it, but you're just ever so slightly riding that edge. And my final tip for sanding, and this goes for sanding anything, is just look at it and feel it. Like, if you just sand and walk away and you think it's good, you're making a huge mistake. So take a look at what you've done, give it a feel, and make the adjustments as necessary. Anyway, I'm going to keep sanding because sanding's the best, and I'll let you in on the finished product.